Now we can begin creating the simulation. We need something from which to emit particles, so the easiest way to do this is to use a grid. I'll call this the raindrop emitter. Its size doesn't really matter here. I'll just set it to size, say, of 2 and 2. That's subdivisions, but a length of, say, 2 and 2. And I'll match it up with the position of an object up here. Transform, match position, let's say, to this controller. Alright, so I'm getting a very small emission point, and if I press play, actually I don't have any kind of emission yet, so that doesn't really matter. I'm going to move the emitter object up and simulate create emit particles from this object. Now again, if I press play now, let me set the start end frame to something like 500 frames, and I'll press loop. I'm just going to get particles emitting upwards. So I'm going to have to change something on the emission. I'll close down the point cloud property editor, open up an ice tree by selecting the point cloud and pressing Alt 9 to open up a floating ice tree. In the emit from surface compound, double click to edit. And we want the rate of particles to be very slow, first of all. So I'm going to have perhaps 10 particles per second being emitted from the grid. The shape of the particles needs to be something other than point. We need to be aware of the particle volume in this case to create a water drop, accumulation of smaller droplets. So the shape in this case will be something like sphere, and I'll adjust the size to the scene scale. And for this I'm just going to double click to minimize my ice tree, and I'll just do a quick little size test here. Perhaps pretty small actually, so in this case perhaps between 0.1 and 0.12. So let's just say 0.12 for now. To change the emission direction, I'll make sure that the direction and speed option is not using the location normal, but it's using a direction vector, and I'm going to specify my direction vector as -1 and y. So I'll move my emitter object kind of up a little bit. I don't need it to be too high for now, because when you're just testing the effect, you just want to make sure it works. You don't want to spend a lot of time emitting just to get to the effect. So I'll keep the emission point fairly low to the leaf for now.